Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jay Leno.
Good evening. Gosh, it's almost hard to believe a tenth of the evening is almost past. You know, Johnny Carson's a remarkable man, probably rivaled only by the President of the United States in total number of days off work. See, if you're a comedian, you go on the Tonight Show and Johnny Carson laughs, you're in show business. You're a comedian, you go on the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson doesn't laugh, you're on cable. Anyway, you're in my business. I first met Johnny Carson about 12 years ago. Harvey Korman was kind enough to bring him to the Improvisation, the nightclub here in Los Angeles, to see me work. And after I finished my routine, wound up and I introduced myself, and he was very nice. He said, "You're a funny young man, but you're just not right for the show. You don't have enough jokes." So I thanked him and went out and egged his car. And when I finally did the show, I remember after I'd done the stand-up and I went down on the couch and I sat down on the panel, and during the break, Johnny turned to me and he said, "You know that thing you did about the drive-in movie? Here's another joke you..." And he gave me another joke I could use. And I don't think there's a comedian working today who's been on a Tonight Show that Johnny hasn't either given a line to or given some advice or helped in one way or another. And besides being a nice guy, the one great thing to me about Johnny Carson is that he's never forgotten the jokes. I guess that's why he'll always be the consummate stand-up comedian, because he's shown the rest of us coming up, no matter how big you get, and you really can't get much bigger than Johnny, you still have to do the jokes. Also on the Tonight Show, there's a man you always see standing in the shadows just off camera there. When things get out of whack, Johnny will turn to him and seek his advice and counsel. Occasionally, he will emerge from the shadows, get things back on track, and return to his post. But today, there is no place for this guy to hide. Please welcome executive producer of the Tonight Show, Mr. Fred DeCordova.
I have been Johnny Carson's producer / executive producer for more than 17 years, and he sure belongs in my Hall of Fame. Obviously, I am delighted to be here tonight as he is inducted into television's Hall of Fame. Johnny is no phone-it-in star. Just as important as his talent to amuse, and maybe more so, is the fact that he is, well, in spite of all the applause and the spotlight that follows him on stage and off, he is a thoroughly decent man. Don't misunderstand. He knows he's a star. He knows the perks that go with his position, but he recognizes all of us with whom he works as what we'd like to be considered colleagues, not employees. He is, in short, a special kind of man, and there isn't a pretentious bone in his body. You are about to see a short montage of Carson over the years, put together expertly. And to those of you who know him, and those of you who don't, I can assure you it's a fitting tribute.
How are you tonight, Charlie? Oh, Charlie Wiley. Now look.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Johnny.
Come on in and chase those blues away. Yes, it's Blue Ribbon Coffee time with Eddie Soulsby, the Radio Ranger.
This is WOW-TV, Omaha, Nebraska.
We hope a good many of you are enjoying Christmas with your families today. And you've exchanged presents already, probably had a very nice Christmas dinner. My name's Johnny Carson, and this program is called The Squirrel's Nest.
KNXT consciously presents Carson Sellers. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bring the mic down. I can't hear a thing he's saying.
The Red Scout Review. And now, ladies and gentlemen, substituting for Red Scout, Johnny Carson.
The Johnny Carson Show.
Watch closely. Umana, Alakazai, voila!
John, welcome to our show. It's my pleasure, Pear. Johnny Carson, there he is.
It is no great secret, and I go over to on the Tonight Show on NBC starting October the 1st as the host of that show, and Ed goes with me as the announcer on the show, so I'd like you to meet my father and my mother. Sit here.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of America's clowns.
Thank you. It's hard to believe that the 12th of the evening has already gone by. The date of August the 18th, 1954 may not go down in history as an eventful day for the world, but for one skinny writer on my television show, it was very memorable. Johnny Carson became a hit as a result of a hit on my head I sustained while I was rehearsing a sketch. I walked into a brick wall, and it's usually good for a laugh, but this was good for a concussion. I was in my semi-conscious state, which is pretty hard to tell with me, you know. I suggested that I couldn't go on that evening, but there was a young writer on the show, had a great sense of humor, could take my place. Now, if I would have been completely conscious, I'd probably put him under contract for life. But he went on, and they called it an overnight sensation, which means you have to be in this business for 10 years before you can say that. See? Well, Carson has really come a long way from the cellar to the top of the world. And I admire this man. What I like about him most is that he's a kind gentleman. He's a loving father and a most giving husband, which he has proved on several occasions. I'm really honored that he requested that I present him with this tonight. Now, for his ability to keep the nation entertained and amused for over a quarter of a century, the Television Academy Hall of Fame warmly puts into their ranks another of America's clowns. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Carson.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Red Skelton. Thank you, man. I'm very honored you'll be here to do that. This is what I used to do at home many years ago. These two seagulls were in the nest. I wrote that stuff. I also want to thank Freddie DeCordova and Jay Leno, who voluntarily came here tonight. In the same sense that Ivan Boesky voluntarily gave the money back. A little bit about tonight. I feel a little bit like a Supreme Court nominee. The Academy is going to reconsider this whole thing and take it away tomorrow. So before this becomes official, in the spirit of confession popular among public figures now, I would like to make a confession that in the 1960s, I did, while interviewing Virginia Graham, inhale some dippity-doo. It is always nice to have members of your family here to share a special evening. My wife, Alex. Two of my sons are here tonight. Chris could not be here, but Ricky and Corey are here. My sister, Catherine, my nephew, Jeff, my brother, Dick. Now, I have mixed emotions about this evening. I really do. The very fact that they say you're being inducted into the Hall of Fame sounds suspiciously like you're being entombed, like you're on the final glide path. I remember in 1950 when I first came to California, and every place I appeared, they always introduced me as a rising young comedian. Pooey. Boy, I hated that. It meant that I hadn't arrived, I wasn't mature, I wasn't accepted as part of the entertainment fraternity. Well, now I've matured. Yep. Whoopee. Time magazine a month ago referred to me as the graying veteran of The Tonight Show. Pooey. Boy, I hated that. It is no great thrill to call Jay Leno and Gary Shandling kids. But I guess that's the way it goes. So I am very grateful. This is a nice honor to be with these other inductees tonight. I thank the Television Academy. I thank all of you for being here. But to be honest, if I had one wish tonight, I would truly prefer to be a rising young comedian and do it all over again. Thank you very much.